Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Chambers, and I'm here today with Angel Diaz, and he is a longtime sport karate athlete and a sport karate coach. Thanks for joining the show today.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you so much for having me.
What's the most memorable moment of your sport karate career as a coach or as an athlete?
We starting good. All right. I'm gonna do as a coach first, then I'll do as an athlete. As a coach, I think for me, it's always just been just coaching the people I train with. So, I'm really big. I'm really big on just like being with my family, whether that's like the people I train with in the dojo, my family that I've accumulated over the years of just competing. So I think I'll give two moments. There's two moments that really meant a lot to me. The first moment was doing the 2021 season with my brother Samuel Diaz III, who's on Paul Mitchell now. We did that year was right off a COVID year, so there was only like four tournaments, right? And his first tournament of the year was Battle. It didn't get off to like such a good start. And I remember looking at him and I remember just telling him, man, like, hey, you are going to you're gonna kill it this year. Like I just kept telling him, like, you're gonna kill it. Like, stop. There was one tournament. And with only four tournaments, if you did bad at one, there's only leaves three left. So it's not that many tournaments that you can sit there and say, I'm gonna make up for it. And man, he went to Amerikick, and it was like Amerikick was like the start. And he just set off like a whole entire. I mean, he went into 18, went into 30s, was just winning wherever he can. And the best moment was when we went to Diamond Nationals 2021. For me, that's always held a special place in my heart because I'm gonna tell this story. So I'm gonna tell this story out loud. It's the story that no one's ever heard. It's gonna make me sound soft, but I'm gonna give the real answer because you're asking me, Kyle. So I'm gonna give you the real answer, man. So what happened was he goes for his 30 and over grand. He won the 18 plus bladed division. So now he's on stage for 18 plus. He has a chance at the 18 and over diamond ring. Next thing I know, he wins the 30 and over forms division. So now he has a chance to go for the 30 and over diamond ring. Now, for people that don't know, I never really got out to compete that much. Realistically, I'm like new in the game. It's just people think I've been around for a while, but I'm actually kind of new in the game. So he wins the 30 and over division. He wins the 30 and over forms grand. Now he goes for the 30 and over forms and weapons grand. Now, this is very naive. I didn't know how diamond rings work and how diamond nationals work. He wins, and I looked at him, and we had like a look on our face. He's in the ring of just like, holy cow, you just won a diamond ring. And he runs and he jumps on me. I just picked him up, and I had tears in my eyes. Like I started crying because I thought he won a diamond ring, and I was like, yo, this is what he's been waiting for. Like I always said it, man. My brother didn't get his just due. Like he's been doing it for a long time, and I felt like he was always looked over. And just the way the NASCAR scene was when he was on the scene earlier is very different than what it is now. So I just always felt like he never got his just due. Now here goes the funny part. I have tears in my eyes. He's starting to tear up. I'm like, you did it. You won. All that for the judges to say you didn't win the diamond ring. You have to go up one more time on stage, and if you win there, then you win the diamond ring. And it made us laugh because we were like, oh man, like we just did all this stuff, thinking he won a diamond ring, and he didn't. And that night he ended up going on stage. He got real close. He got 2 seconds in the overall, so he lost to Becca Ross for the 30 and over diamond ring, and then lost in the 18 plus over diamond ring to Jake Presley, who's now his teammate. But I think for me, that was just a really big moment for me as a coach, just supporting my brother. But then also it was just like, something I say it, we come from a small town. We're just small town kids with big dreams. So just to always dream about it, and then to think you had it. And even just for that second that we thought it was real, it meant a lot. So that's my first coaching moment. My second coaching moment was probably this past year, I would say. My girlfriend Jaden Tuitt, she's on Heartland South Army Strong, right? She was just at Missouri for the Ozark Mountain Nationals, and she ended up winning the $2,000 overall Grand Champion award. For me, that meant a lot, right? I had to explain it to her after why it meant a lot, but as we know, there's not that many big overall prizes that are given in the United States like that as a grand championship. So to see her win it, and just like I said, like I'm real hard on her, and she knows this, and I tell her this all the time. Like I'm hard on her just because, like, I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to fighting, when it comes just to how to perform in the ring, how to perform out of the ring, just a lot of different mistakes I made just learning and just through growth. So I try to steer her in the direction, and sometimes I'm real hard on her, like, when she loses, I'm like, you got to cut this out, you got to fix that, you got to do this, you got to do that. So sometimes I want her to win so bad because I've lost a lot in my time frame. I know what it's like to lose, and I hate that feeling. So I just never want other people to feel that. Even though sometimes we have to go through it, you just want the best for people. So for me, that's what it would be as a coach. And just being on a sideline. Number one is always just gonna be that Diamonds National moment. I made with my brother. That moment to me is always like a lifetime. I wish I could have took a picture so I could have that, because that just means a lot to me. As a competitor, I'll say, I'm gonna go out there and I'll say this. My moments as a competitor have been different. So I've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. And I just say it's just growth, right? So when I look at losing, I just look at them as lessons. I say my biggest moment was Chicago, aka 2022. So the first tournament to start the year, like I said, I didn't really get to do NASCAR that much. So I've actually only been doing NASCAR like 4 or 5 months at that time, really doing a NASCAR circuit. And I go to AKAs, I go to Chicago. That's when it was in Schaumburg, Illinois. And it was weird because I walked into that tournament, and you know how sometimes you could just feel something's different about you. There's just something different, right? And I fought on Friday night, and people just kept telling me, like, you don't look the same, there's just something off about you. Like I don't see that glow. Like that's what people kept telling me. Now, meanwhile, heading into the tournament, my headspace was just real different, it was real scattered. And I think for that tournament, man, like that was one of those tournaments I didn't have an expectation. I just wanted to go in and perform and just do my best. And I'll tell you what, I go to fight the next day. Little do people know, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. I think I only slept like 3 hours because I just was so nervous. I was like drilling at 3 a.m., just practicing drills in the hotel gym. That's just what I do sometimes. So I go and I compete. And right before I'm going to compete, the people that saw me the day before, they say, you got that glow today. Like I could see it. There's something different about you. Now, when you hear it on the outside, you're like, what does that mean? Like you're trying to look for it yourself. To me, that was probably like my best moment as a competitor, or one of my best moments as a competitor. I ended up winning my division at the AKA Grands, and that was the first time I ever won my division. And that to me is the only time I've won my division. I've gotten close so many times after that, but that was the only time I've won my division. But that was the first time, and when I did it, it felt like a weight, a burden was lifted off my shoulders. I've been trying to chase that win for so long. And then again, I know I'm gonna sound emotional. After I got done winning, the first person that I turned around when the clock hit zero was my brother. And I just ran, gave him a hug. I think he jumped on me again. And I'm the fighter and he jumped on me. And I was just happy, right? As soon as I walked off the stage, took my gear off, everybody saw it. I just started crying. And it was just because of the sacrifices I've made throughout my life. Because I know I just want to get to a certain point. I have certain goals. And that was one of those goals. And just to reach that and just to realize all that sacrifice paid off, that was a huge moment for me. So I say, like, those moments right now in sport karate have always held a special place in my heart.
That's great. I've worked with Angel Diaz in the past. I'm sorry, I've worked with Samuel Diaz in the past. He was my coach for a couple of years. He's on Team Paul Mitchell, and I met him at the Toronto Tournament of Champions in 2022. He's a great guy, and it's great to be able to have those experiences with people and to have those experiences as a athlete now with your girlfriend as a coach is
Yeah.
amazing as well.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And I gotta say, man, it's I think, man, like I say it all the time. There's just something. I don't think. I think the day my brother stops, I don't know if I could keep doing this. And I say that just because, man, like I love doing this so much with him. There's just something special about just being able to do karate with him, talk karate with him. It's our common meeting place because there's such an age difference between us. But within that common meeting spot, there's just so much love and admiration there that, like, man, I just can't tell you, man. Like, I love competing with my brother. I love it. I love competing with him. That's like my favorite thing. And then like how you said, right? Like, he's an awesome guy. I get lucky that he comes home with me, right? Like, he's down the street from me. I get to go see him today. I get to go see him tomorrow. So like, it's just I'm blessed enough to have that. I'm really blessed.
It's great. Talk about the podcast you have on Martial Arts InterNetwork and what that's all about as well.
So Martial Arts InterNetwork. Oh man, it's been about been 2 years. I think about to go on 3 years that I've been doing it, and I'm gonna tell you, man. I feel like we just started yesterday. So Martial Arts InterNetwork, it's called Fists, Kicks, and Flixx. So we review martial arts movies. We review different movies out there that have martial arts in them, whether they're action movies, comedies, dramas, and we just give a movie review. We're like kind of like movie critics, right? And the best part is that we've gotten to do some interviews with some actors and some stunt coordinators, which has been pretty cool, man. That's like something I never would have thought I saw myself doing at this point in my life. But it's also cool, man. We built a brotherhood and we built a bond there. And if people haven't listened to it, I always tell people, like, give it one listen. Because the one thing about us, and I can always say this, because it's Eugene Plowden and Joe Hartley, we will always make people laugh. And I can say that because we come out with some of the craziest, most randomest thoughts. It's been some crazy stuff that's been said on that podcast. And I'll tell you what, man, I wouldn't really take it back. It's just something that it's just a special bond that we're able to have. And reviewing the movies is the fun part, but it's something I look forward to in my week. And then, like I said, man, like, just Joe Hartley is hilarious. Like, it's just the wildest stuff, man, that you can think of. We'll say on that podcast because we kind of just have like a free flowing conversation. That's what it seems like, man. Every Tuesday night, it seems like it's just a conversation I'm having for an hour with some friends, and that's like the best types of podcasts. You want that type of podcast, you know?
We're able to review movies and martial arts. I think a lot of people are in different martial arts, either traditionally and or in the sport karate world, but to actually review different movies that are outside of just the ones that everyone knows, like the Karate Kid and things of that nature, to be
Yeah.
able to have actually a sit down and say, hey, there's some martial arts in this, and have those debates. We even heard Jeff and Alex have their conversations about, do you think martial arts was in this movie and things of that nature as well. So it's great you're able to bring that side of the world into the martial arts.
No, absolutely. And thank you for bringing it up, man, because I'll tell you what, like, I think I have a lot of the hot takes, because I'm always talking about like boxing's a martial art, and then we start having like a whole argument, right? But I will say I found a new love for martial arts, and I get to see martial arts in everything. And just seeing what martial arts looks like and seeing how it's incorporated in just different fashions, different styles, different ways, it's truly given me a deeper love for martial arts and just how it can be applied, and kind of just showing that there's many streams to one river, right? So there's not just one way that's the right way. There's not one way that it has to be done. As long as it's effective, as long as it keeps you safe, and as long as you love what you do, then that's just the most important thing. And that's that journey of martial arts that we're all striving to be on.
That's great. Thank you for being on the show today.
No problem, man. Thank you so much, Kyle. And then, hey, I hope I can be on again in the future.
This podcast episode and all podcast episodes are sponsored by Virtual Fight Tour. For more information about Virtual Fight Tour, check them out on Facebook and on Instagram at Virtual Fight Tour. This has been KC Sports Selected Podcast with Kyle Chambers.